46, 47, 48, 49. Not one. Oh, hey, Dad.
Hey, son. You gaming?
Yep, just being a real esports player like I told you I was going to be.
Uh-huh. Then what's that?
Oh, it's not what it looks like. I swear.
No son of mine is going to be an ultra athlete. Get me those right now.
Dad, don't you get it? I'm not a gamer anymore. I want to watch sports.
I raised you on Call of Duty, League of Legends, Overwatch.
Wait. What if I just get really good at Madden?
I don't want to... Oh yeah, actually, that does seem pretty reasonable. Yeah, sure, go ahead and have your fun and do all that. Just get really good at Madden, too. Have a good night, son.
Well, that was easy.
Man, I am not beating those copying MBT allegations. Welcome to The Lab, the series where I test off-meta strategies in some of your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Formats. Today, and in our format, we're playing Monarch Ultra Athlete. Here's the list. UA is an archetype of Earth Warrior monsters that are based around sports. And not just one specific sport, literally all the major sports you could think of. Each of the UA cards have the effect to, in essence, swap themselves out for another UA monster once per turn. This interesting theming allows for fun setups in the main phase 1 to prepare yourself for the battle phase with piercing damage and destruction effects. Then, in the main phase 2, you can swap out your hard hitters for big beefy boys with destruction immunity and omni effect negates. In constructed play, your main goal is to normal summon out the 2 level 4 UA monsters in Midfielder and Libero Spiker, but at NR, the only UA monsters available are level 5 or higher. This is why we're running a package of not only Monarch support cards such as the Squire cards, but also the Earth support cards in the Vernusylphs, and the Earth Warrior support card, Puppet Rook. To begin, we'll start with the UAs. 3 copies of Mighty Slugger. I'll read out his first effect so you know what the other UA cards do. You can special summon this card from your hand by returning 1 UA monster you control to the hand, except UA Mighty Slugger. You can only special summon 1 UA Mighty Slugger once per turn this way. This means that if you find another way to special summon out this card, you're allowed to special summon out other copies of him, or even himself if you're wanting to swap them out again. All of the UA monsters have this effect, but apply to themselves instead. His unique effect makes it so that way when he attacks, your opponent can't activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. Initially, you wouldn't think this is too useful, but it does provide some utility in this format specifically. Battle traps are a force to be reckoned with in NR. 3 copies of Perfect Ace. He's a low attack monster with big defense, and he's also your Omni Negate. Once per turn, during your opponent's turn, when a card or effect is activated, you can discard 1 card, negate that activation, and if you do, destroy it. This is a quick effect. The UA cards are printed when quick effects just became a term that Konami started to use, so I just thought it was just funny to say. 1 copy of Goalkeeper, 1k attack, 2800 defense. Once per turn, during your opponent's turn, you can target 1 UA monster you control. Once during this turn, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. This effect is a once per turn destruction immunity, so if your opponent doesn't read the card, they'll think this effect is total destruction protection for the turn. It's a bit confusing, but basically if your opponent can beat over it or attempt to destroy it by effect twice, it'll be destroyed. Making Goalkeeper a one-of just to have more unique UA names and the niche protection can still be useful. 3 copies of Rival Rebounder. This card is your combo extender and one of the best normal summons a hand could have. On a hard once per turn, if Rebounder is normal summoned on your turn or special summoned on your opponent's turn, you can just summon 1 UA monster from your hand or graveyard except for Rival Rebounder. This, alongside the field spell, allows for some crazy combo potential, which we'll get into in a moment. 1 copy of Blockbacker. Once per turn, when your opponent special summons a monster or monsters, you could change their battle positions, and if you do, negate their effects. This card is a slow Boguska on special summoned monsters, but the negated effects are permanent even if Blockbacker leaves the field, and it's not a hard once per turn on his effect. Unfortunately, his stat line, as well as being a level 7, make him only a one-of in the deck. And finally, for the UA monsters, 3 copies of Dreadnought Dunker, a level 7 2500 attack monster with piercing damage, and when he deals damage to the opponent, targets a card on the field and destroys it. This effect does happen during the end of the damage step, making it so Dunker can destroy without being negated or interrupted by most card effects. He really isn't the best normal summon, but he's one card you really want to see at least one copy of in nearly every single game. For the other UA cards, we have 2 spells. UA Signing Deal is a normal spell that on a hard once per turn, special summons out any UA monster from the deck, but it negates its effects and it can't be used for Synchro or Xyz material. Also, you lose life points equal to its level times 300. The main play with Signing Deal is to special summon out the monster you want for the current situation, bounce it back by special summoning out another UA monster, then special summon it out again using its swap effect, giving you a UA monster with its effect active. In essence, bring out UA Signing Deal, use another UA monster, bounce it back, and bring that monster back again, making it so the effects are active again, even though you used both of its special summon effects. 3 copies of the field spell, UA Stadium. If a UA monster is normal summoned to your side of the field, you can add 1 UA monster from your deck to your hand. Also, once per turn, if a UA monster is special summoned to your side of the field, all monsters you currently control gain 500 attack, even if this card leaves the field. A few things to know about this card. 1. If you normal summon out Rival Rebounder with UA Stadium on the field, you could chainlink 1 Rebounder, chainlink 2 Stadium to add whatever UA card you'd like into your hand, and with Rebounder's effect, special summon it instantly in the same chain. Keep in mind, you need to be able to activate Rebounder's effect first, making it so you need another UA card either in hand or graveyard for the effect to work, but it's one of the most satisfying chain resolutions to add any card from your deck and bring it out immediately. The second important point about UA Stadium, if you special summon a UA at all, the attack boost effect always activates, making it important to know when you're going to normal summon versus when you're going to special summon your monsters. That's it for the UA cards. Now we'll move on to the Squires. 3 copies of Yugioh the Heavenly Squire. If normal is special summoned, you can special summon 1 monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense, aka your other 2 Squires, and she locks you from using the extra deck after this effect resolves. Your 2 options for the special summon include 2 copies of Yugioh the Underworld Squire, who, on normal or special summon, give you the ability to tribute summon 1 monster in addition to your regular normal summon / set. If Yugioh is in the graveyard, you could banish it to target an 800 attack, 1000 defense monster in your graveyard, except for Yugioh. Special summoning it in defense position, and then locks you from the extra deck as well. And the last Squire, 2 copies of Landrobe the Rock Vassal. Wait, that's not a Squire. Well, anyway, while he's in your hand, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls, lock yourself from the extra deck, and then special summon Landrobe. Then, flip your opponent's monster to face-down defense position. If he's used for a tribute, you can add an 800 attack, 1000 defense monster in your graveyard back to your hand, except for Landrobe. Basically the other 2 Squires. Next, we'll talk about some of the generic cards before we move on to the new stuff. 2 copies of Tenyi Spirit Vashutta. You're using Vashutta as a free special summon when you have no cards in the field, to be linked off using Monk of the Tenyi, and banishing itself using Vashutta's effect to bounce any of your opponent's cards back to the hand. A great extender and a great tribute fodder for the UA cards. And 3 copies of Dogmatica Punishment. We are rarely ever going to the extra deck. Since 7 cards already lock you, we might as well play 3 more. We're playing a number of targets with punishment in the extra, including Fossil Machine Skullwagon, who can banish himself to destroy a back row card on your turn, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, which has more attack than nearly anything in the game, and Gaia Armor Dragon Shell, whose only relevant effect equips it to a monster you control that was special summoned from the extra deck and lets you draw a card when an attack is declared involving it. Now for the Spice. 3 copies of Vernusylph of the Flowering Fields. First, it has an effect to prevent your opponent from targeting Vernusylph monsters you control with card effects. Second, you can discard this card and one other monster or Vernusylph card, add 1 monster from your graveyard to hand, except for Flowering Fields, then special summon 1 Earth monster from the graveyard. This can be Flowering Fields if you really want it to be. This gives it some great effects after a little bit of setup, but a card that doesn't need as much setup at all is Vernusylph of the Thawing Mountains. Thawing Mountains has the same discard effect and Earth monster effect as Flowering Fields, but its effect activation requirement are much easier to accomplish. If you pitch for its effect, you could draw a card, then special summon an Earth monster from your graveyard. With Flowering Fields, you need an Earth in the graveyard already for its effect to come online, so it's a difference between starter versus combo extender for these 2. Also, its secondary effect can make a Vernusylph monster attack twice. You're never going to use that effect at all. And finally, for the main deck, 2 copies of Puppet Rook. When normal summoned, you could change it to defense position, and if you do, send 1 Earth Warrior monster from your deck to your graveyard. This helps sets up both its Floodgate effect and its Reborn effect. Monsters your opponent controls that can attack must attack this card. This makes it so your opponent must find some sort of removal, or else they are forced into the battle phase and attack this card if they have any monster in attack position. Finally, when this card is targeted for attack, you can target a level 6 or higher Earth Warrior monster in your graveyard, send this card from the field to the graveyard, then special summon that monster and change the attack target to it. There are two fantastic options with Puppet Rook's send ability and special summon effect. The first one is Dunker, which provides a heavy 2500 attack body, and if your opponent takes any damage, a pop that will have very hard time negating. Your second option is Rebounder, which counts as a special summon on your opponent's turn, letting you bring out another UA monster onto the field from the grave or the hand. The only downside with this option of Rebounder is this allows for a redeclare for your opponent instead of a lock on Puppet Rook's effect. Quick shoutouts to this card, Feast of the Wild level 5. In some of the replays, I experimented with taking out Puppet Rook for it in order to go into the rank 5 cards more easily, as well as having better plays when we brick on strictly UA monsters. But I opted for the final build to include Puppet Rook for the novelty. It's still a great card for the archetype nonetheless. For the extra, we have our Dogmatica punishment targets in Fossil Machine Skullwagon, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, Guy Armor Dragon Shell, 1 Volcasaurus, 1 Digvorjak, 1 Shark Fortress, 2 Monk of the Tenyi, 2 Pentastag, 1 Transverser, 1 Triple Burst Dragon, and 1 Berserker of the Tenyi. With all that being said, let's get into the duels and take home the gold. Our first match is up against Warrocks, and already off the bat, we see that we have a pretty good hand for the start. Our opponent's going first. They're going to activate a copy of Warrock Medium, activating its effect to set a copy of Warrock Generation, and because they don't have any activatable effects, they're going to pass there. We draw for turn, and, well, that seems like a alright card. We're going to normal summon out Yugioh, the Underworld Squire, activating its effect immediately, and activate UA Stadium. After this, we're going to tribute summon out Rival Rebounder, and doing its cute little effect, activating Rebounder Chainlink 1, UA Stadium Chainlink 2. With UA Stadium Chainlink 2's effect, we're able to grab Dreadnought Dunker, and Rival Rebounder's effect immediately bring out the Dreadnought Dunker. And with the UA Stadium effect, we're instantly buffing up all of our monsters. We're going to go ahead and attack with Dreadnought Dunker. They're going to activate Warrock Generations, and I have no clue what this card does. I'm not going to read it. Oh, they brought up Mahmood? Okay. We're going to battle into Mahmood, and then pop their Warrock Medium as well. After this, we're going to hit with Rival Rebounder, hit him for 27, put our monsters into defense mode, bringing out both the Goalkeeper and the Perfect Ace, swapping out these two cards for further plays on the next turn. With the ability to go ahead and protect our monster and an Omni Negate with Perfect Ace, I feel like there's nothing really they can do. They draw for turn, and that's a normal summon they could use. They're going to activate the effect of Vernusylph, the Flowering Fields, pitching Warlock Skylar. We're going to Perfect Ace, pitching our Mighty Slugger. Going to negate the effect and destroy it if it would be able to be destroyed. They're going to set one card and pass, and I think we're going to go and wrap this one up here. We're going to draw for turn, and that's alright. We're just going to go ahead and normal summon out Rival Rebounder in order to get another special summon out of another monster with UA Stadium's effect. UA Stadium Chainlink 1, add ourselves another Dunker. Rival Rebounder effect, Chainlink 2, bring out the Dunker. UA Stadium effect, bitch all of them up. UA Dreadnought Dunker, dunking on in for 1, dunk for 2, and Rebounder for game. This replay really shows what happens when you're able to get any sort of tribute summon off, as well as having the main combo that is most important for UAs to get off. Rebounder and UA Stadium are a must for most hands. Our second game is up against Tearlament's Despia, and this hand isn't the best, but their hand is far, far worse. They're going to go first. They're going to activate Despia Theater the Branded, set 2, and pass the turn. Okay, well, knowing that they don't have a fusion target, we're feeling pretty safe here. We're going to draw for turn. We activate the effect of Tenyi Spirit Vashetta, Link Summon it off for Monk of the Tenyi, and normal summon out ourselves a Puppet Rook, after activating the effect of Tenyi Spirit Vashetta, returning the back row to the hand. Puppet Rook's effect, we're going to go ahead and pitch out the Rival Rebounder, set 1, and pass the turn. They draw for turn, and that's not going to help out their hand either. They're going to tribute summon out the Despian Tragedy, and normal summon out the Jax Knight. They have not read Puppet Rook yet, And that's a good thing. They're going to set 2, go to the battle phase, and try to end, because they realize that they can't end. Jackshai is going to attack into the Puppet Rook, and we're going to activate our Puppet Rook's effect. We're going to bring out the Rival Rebounder, special summoning it on our opponent's turn. Rival Rebounder's effect is going to bring out the Dreadnought Dunker. We're going to go to the main phase 2 after being able to get out of the battle lock thanks to Puppet Rook. Special summoning out Rival Rebounder and Rival Rebounder's effect, bringing out the Dreadnought Dunker, but not opting to hit the Monk of the Tenyi for some reason. I'm not entirely certain why. They're going to go to the end phase, and we should have activated Dogmatic Punishment here, but we opted not to for some reason. We're going to do it in the standby phase instead for some silly reason. Sending Zeta, we're going to bring back out the Dunker with the special summon effect, normal summon out the Rival Rebounder, and we're going to activate Rebounder's effect, and they're going to scoop from here, realizing that they have no plays whatsoever. Well, while this deck may have some bricks, at least it doesn't brick exactly like that. Our third match is up against Cybers, and this hit is okay. We really don't have any other UA monsters to bring out other than Rival Rebounder, so we're hoping that our draw for turn is going to unbrick our hand to add a little bit something extra. They're going to go first. They're going to normal summon out a copy of Baruru, sending a Chi-Chi. They're going to activate Mathemic Addition, targeting the Baruru, and making it so they can special summon itself out and bring out Cyber Switch. They're going to activate a copy of Idol Reborn, bringing back the Chi-Chi. They're going to Chi-Chi effect, adding a level 4 lower Adignister monster, and Cyber Switch effect, banish a spell from grave, adding a Cyberse Ritual monster and a Signet Ritual from deck to hand. Interesting. I'm not entirely certain what they're going to grab at this point, but I feel like there's some mischievous things afoot. They're going to bring out a copy of Cyberse Magician and Signet Ritual. And with Adignister, a Chi-Chi Adignister, they're going to add Hayari. They're going to activate Cyber Switch, bringing themselves out the Mathmech Edition, linking themselves off into Cyber's Wicked. Okay, they're going to Hayari, go ahead and special summon itself out. Cyber's Wicked effect, they're going to banish out the Edition and bring out Baruru, a Cyber's Tuner. They're going to link one into Devotee. Devotee's effect is going to lock them from link 3 or higher. They're going to Hayari, tributing the one Cyber's to bring out Gachiri. Gachiri is crazy. They're going to activate the effect of Link Devotee in the graveyard after being tributed to bring itself out 2 Link tokens. They're going to activate Gachiri Adignister's effect, negating the effects of the Hayari, special summoning itself out, and then Signet Ritualing out using the Gachiri in order to bring themselves out a copy of Cyberse Magician. Now, Gachiri says, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you target one face-up monster you control. That target is unaffected by your opponent's card effects until the end of your opponent's turn. I did not read this card. They're going to activate its effect on this chain, and they're going to link summon out with Hayari and the token into Protocol Gardna. Protocol Gardna says, your opponent's monsters cannot target monsters this card points to for attacks. Cyberse Magician says, while you control a Link monster, monsters your opponent controls cannot target monsters you control for attacks except this one. Also, your opponent cannot target monsters you control with card effects except this one. So this card is protected via Gachiri for the entirety of his turn and my turn, can't be attacked, but must be attacked, and Cyberse monsters this card points to cannot be destroyed by card effects. The only way to out this is to Kaiju over the Cyberse Magician, or skill drain the whole field, and that's it. They're going to set 2 and pass here, and, well, we're going to try at least to do, I don't know, something. We're going to activate Landrobe, targeting the only monster that can be targeted, but it's unaffected by the effect of Gachiri, so it does really nothing. We're going to set Adios and pass the turn. They're going to activate Idol Reborn on the end phase, go to a Chi-Chi, and this is going to be over from here. They're going to add themselves a Pikari, and we're going to pass turn. They're going to go ahead and draw for turn. The Fey-Hiding Spirit's just a salt in the wound. So much they could do. Going to link off into Cyber Switch, normal summon out Baruru, sending themselves a Doyon. They're going to activate Fighting Spirit, bringing back the Doyon. They're going to Doyon effect, target a Gachiri. They're going to Cyber Switch, banishing the Fighting Spirit on Chain Link 2. And they're going to add another Cyberse Ritual and another Cyberse Ritual monster. Signet Ritual and another Cyberse Ritual monster, and the Gachiri, and they're going to activate the effect of Fighting Spirit, and they're going to activate Signet Ritual, tributing off both of these monsters for Water Leviathan Adignister, link these cards off into Flame Administrator, make it so not only that all link monsters now have 800 attack and defense, they have so much card advantage on the field. Adding back with Doyon the Idol Reborn, Cyber Switch effect, bringing back the Picari, and Picari effect adding another Fighting Spirit. By God, they're going to go into a Link 3 Triple Burst Dragon to just add a little bit more salt on the world, 3,200 attack, making this monster have 0, shuffling back monsters, and they're going to go into Protocol Garna onto that, Cyber's Triple Burst Dragon into my monster, and then just finish me off for a game. This deck is absolutely crazy. It is, in fact, one of the scariest decks I've ever faced up against, and I'm so thankful that I got at least a chance to see it, but by God, is it annoying. Our fourth game is up against Gadget Raider, and it looks like both of us have pretty much bricked on both the hands. They're going to set 2 and pass here, and we just need to draw any form of Squire or any form of normal summonable monster just to bring ourselves out of this hole, and we draw another UA monster. We're going to pass here with 6 bricks in hand. They're going to draw a card that's pretty alright. They're going to activate Alpha, add themselves Valkyrion. They're going to activate Magnetic Field and go into the battle phase. And they're going to go into the battle phase, attack with Alpha, and they're going to pass the turn. We're going to draw for turn, and Feast the Wild level 5 is probably one of the best cards we could add here. And I wanted to show off this replay mostly because this is a showcase of what this card can also do. It can unbrick this specific hand entirely, full of just a bunch of UA monsters, but including Perfect Ace and Mighty Slugger. We're going to activate Feast of the Wild level 5, bringing out both the Perfect Ace and the Mighty Slugger. We're going to normal summon out Rival Rebounder here, tributing the Perfect Ace. We're going to Rival Rebounder, bring back the Perfect Ace, and then special summon out Dreadnought Dunker and go into the battle phase. Dreadnought Dunker is going to be targeted by the Lost Wind. Oh, are you kidding? Well, that's fine. The Dreadnought Dunker is going to go. We're going to attack with Rival Rebounder into the Alpha, the Electromagnetic Warrior. They're going to Epsilon here, sending themselves out a copy of Beta and bring back the Alpha. We're going to go into the Epsilon, which is now treated as Beta. Magnetic Field's effect is going to return back to hand Rival Rebounder. We're going to special summon out Mighty Slugger using Perfect Ace's effect, and we're going to end from there. We're mostly worried about not being able to beat over any of their monsters that they could special summon out, and Perfect Ace was already special summoned out during his turn, so having a 1500 attack monster isn't exactly where you want to be when the monster on field is currently 1700, and we need to keep this monster alive. Draw for turn, and Planet Pathfinder's alright. They're going to activate a copy of Magnetic Field, bringing themselves out a copy of Beta. Beta effect, they're going to add Gamma. They're going to use Vernusylph of the Flowering Fields effect, pitching the Valkyrion, adding back the Epsilon, and special summoning out the Vernusylph. They're going to Xyz into Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. They're going to normal summon out Pathfinder, going to activate its effect, and bring out Generator Boss Stage. They're going to Boss Stage here, going over the Magnetic Field, Alpha in attack position, and pass the turn. This is interesting. They really don't have many cards they can go off of this effect. The main thing that they're wanting to do is use the Generator Boss Stage to, on our draw phase, bring themselves out a copy of Utgarda, and they're going to Alpha, bring themselves out, special summon out a level 4 Magnet Warrior, bring out the copy of Epsilon, and Utgarda is going to bring itself out. They're going to generate a boss stage here, Chainlink 2, going to activate the Epsilon, sending a copy of another Alpha. Epsilon is not going to choose to special summon out another monster, instead they're going to bring out 3 copies of the generator tokens. Allowing us to set up on our turn isn't exactly where they want to be, because Utgarda can mostly, if they aren't aware, if they just got rid of our Mighty Slugger, we couldn't do really anything here. We're going to activate a copy of UA Stadium, normal summon out Rival Rebounder. Rival Rebounder is going to activate its effect alongside a Chainlink 2 of UA Stadium. They're going to Utgarda, targeting the UA Stadium, and this is going to be, hopefully, their downfall. They're going to send the UA Stadium, make it so its effect fizzles, but we can bring out a copy of UA Dreadnought Dunker. We're going to Dunker here into the Alpha. They're going to Phoenix Wing Blast. Pitching the Utgarda. That's fine. We're just going to go back into the Epsilon, and we're going to bring it on back, send out the Perfect Ace in defense position, and pass the turn. They draw for turn. They're going to activate the effect of Vernusylph of the Thawing Mountains. We're going to let that resolve in order to keep the Perfect Ace lock, because Bamboozling Gossip Shadow currently has an effect that makes it so that we can instead draw one card instead, but because they activated the Vernusylph card, they can't use Bamboozling Gossip Shadow's effect right now. They're going to activate a copy of Planet Pathfinder, adding the magnetic field to hand. They're going to swap out that for the magnetic field. They're going to the battle phase, hitting over and hitting themselves for some reason. I don't know why. Oh! That's right, I remember being in call when this happened. You see, Magnetic Field has an effect that says when the end of the damage step, when an Earth Rock monster you control battled an opponent's monster, but the opponent's monster was not destroyed by battle, you could turn that monster to the hand. Utgarda is a light rock monster. They're going to normal summon out Epsilon, the Magnet Warrior, send out Gamma. We're going to UA Perfect Ace here, mostly because we want to deny them from having the continuous conga line of Epsilon assholes. So, they're going to set one and pass here. We draw for turn, and we know what we're going to draw. We're going to bring out the Rival Rebounder, because that's exactly what they brought out with the effect of Phoenix Wing Wing Blast, putting it back in the top of the deck. We're going to pitch out, bring out the Dreadnought Dunker, go into the battle phase, hit over Utgarda, and another Lost Wind! Alright, we're going to pass here. If they draw anything, we're pretty much boned, and that's not everything. They don't have much they can do here other than activate Planet Pathfinder, add another magnetic field, and then go into the battle phase, hit for 2200 only. We still have a shot if we happen to be able to draw anything here. We draw for turn, and that is the best option we could possibly have. By activating Land Robe's effect, targeting Bamboozling Gossip Shadow, they can either activate the card and make it so its effect goes off, or and then let us normal summon out the Land Robe, which is perfect. We want to draw more cards. We're going to activate a copy of Land Robe, targeting the Gossip Shadow. They're going to do that effect exactly as I thought they were. And then from there, we're going to draw one card. They too are going to draw one card. And we get to draw the best card in our deck. Adios, the Underworld Squire is fantastic here. We're going to tribute summon out for a copy of Rival Rebounder. Rival Rebounder's effect is going to add ourselves the Dunker. The Dunker's going to get Duncan on the Utgarda. We're going to, instead of hitting over the Bamboozling Gossip Shadow that does nothing, hit over the Magnetic Field, return that back over, bring back the Block Backer. We're going to bring out the Perfect Ace. Oh man, this is fantastic here. They're going to set one card. They're going to activate a copy of Generator Boss Stage. We're going to Perfect Ace here. We know their last card in hand is another copy of Magnetic Field, and they currently have no level 4 or lower Earth Rock monsters. They're going to end the turn from here. We draw for turn, and that's fine. We're going to tribute summon out for a copy of UA Rival Rebounder. Rival Rebounder's effect is going to bring back out the Mighty Slugger. We are going to bring these two off for a copy of Volcasaurus. The reason why we're going for this is because we currently have no way to get over Bamboozling Gossip Shadow's big old booty. So, by using Volcasaurus' effect, we're going to be able to target Bamboozling Gossip Shadow and destroy it. They're going to be able to go ahead and set both their copies of Lost Wind, which we know beforehand, but we have to do something in order to stop the bleeding. We're going to activate Volcasaurus' effect, targeting the Bamboozling Gossip Shadow, making them take 1000, hitting for the 2200. Main phase 2, we're going to activate Rebounder, bringing out the Goalkeeper, and passing the turn. They draw for turn, and they get another Vernusylph, the Flowering Fields. Nothing they can do here. They only have the Lost Winds as far as we are aware, and the back row we have to play around a little bit, but we'll do what he can. We draw for turn, and that's really good. We're going to activate UA Signing Deal, bringing ourselves out a copy of Mighty Slugger. Mighty Slugger is going to return itself out for Rival Rebounder, bring out the Mighty Slugger, go into the battle phase, and this is going to be for lethal, even with both of these Lost Winds targeted on both of our highest attack monsters. That is not going to be enough. Baby, sports, 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 sports! Woo! This game was intense, long-winded, and probably one of my favorite matches of the set that I played. So those were the games, and sports, 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 sports! Okay, sorry. I had to get that out of my system. Let's go over the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1. The ability to swap in this archetype gives it a very unique playstyle that isn't quite replicated anywhere else. 2. The spells in this archetype are on the verge of broken. Adding any UA card from your deck with Stadium, or special summoning any UA from the deck with Signing Deal, gives this deck a huge amount of options. And 3, the new Earth support cards are fantastic inclusions in this variant of UA. Being able to special summon from Grave a pitched UA with any of the Vernusylphs, or the Battle Floodgate of Puppet Rook adds consistency to the deck like never before. And the cons. 1, you're extra deck locked with like a fourth of the deck. Any of the unique rank 5s or 6s we could be playing are taken up by punishment targets, and even if we weren't playing them, we still have a high chance of not even using them with the Squire locks. 2, the deck has synergy issues with the Squires, Vernusylphs, and Vashutta. The Squires can extra deck lock you, keeping you from using the Vashutta/Monk play. The Vernusylphs earth lock you, keeping you from Yugioh and Yugioh's effects, and all these locks are important things to keep in mind when playing this deck. And 3, at the end of the day, you're playing 14 tribute summonable monsters with no way for them to get out each other without the rest of the deck. If you draw too many of your UAs with no starters, you might as well hit the showers. My final thoughts for this deck are as follows. I think that this deck is a great showcase for the new Earth support cards. It's incredibly fun to play, and its archetypal gimmick is very well designed. However, tribute summoning, even in an R format, can be incredibly slow. Maybe when MasterDuel adds the Junior Journey event, we can finally dunk on the competition. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Related content. Also, thank you to MBT Yu-Gi-Oh! For the formula of this series. His 10-minute testing for the TCG is the kind of content that the Yu-Gi-Oh! Space needs more of, and I hope that my spin for alt formats does it justice. My name is Doc Conrad, YGO, and I hope to see you back in the lab.